Namaste and welcome to today's yoga class with me, Wendy, at Yoga in the Garden. So today we're going to be doing a gentle practice. This practice is going to be accessible to everyone out there, predominantly standing, so we're not going to be putting any weight on our wrists or our hands. So for those of you with injured wrists or hands, this one is perfect for you, and it's going to be a very relaxed, gentle, flowing, grounding practice, thinking about spiraling energy and connecting to the earth through our feet and through strength in our legs. It's going to be, as I keep reiterating, it's going to be gentle. So you can make it stronger if you have a strong yoga practice. Sometimes it's nice to take things back a notch and just take it easy and really focus on your breath, which is going to be the aim of today's practice. Breathing through each posture, breathing through each movement and really feeling that breath. So this is for everyone. So I'd like us all to start with our feet about hip width apart, underneath the hips, spreading the toes, outside edges of your feet parallel with your mat. And just take a moment with your eyes closed to rock backwards and forwards on your feet. Feeling that connection to the earth beneath you. Feeling your tipping points. So how far can you go before you feel like you're going to stumble and take a step? And then perhaps take that forward and backwards motion into some circling on your feet. Rocking from the left to the right. And if you feel very disorientated with your eyes closed, you're welcome to have your eyes open with a relaxed gaze. Trying not to look down at your feet though. And then change direction with your circles. And as we circle on our feet now, I'd like you to start to lengthen and deepen and steady your breath. If it's accessible, breathing in and out through your nose. Otherwise, in through your nose and out through your mouth is fine, as long as the breath is deep and full. And then slowly ease off on your circles, spiraling inwards. Bringing everything back into the center of our circle and finding a point where you are grounded across the whole of your feet. We often refer to 4 corners in our feet. 2 at the front, just by the base of our toes, and 2 at the heel. Can you feel an even weight distribution through all those 4 corners? Your legs feel a little bit of engagement lifting up through them. Now that we've moved a little bit, we've had to engage our legs. Is there now a gentle length to your spine and a tuck to your tailbone? A slight lift of the muscles in the belly. Relaxing of the forehead creases. And a little lift of each cheek. These cheeks. You can lift these cheeks too if you want. And then opening your eyes, bring your fingertips onto your shoulders with your elbows out to the sides. We're going to link some movement with some breath now, so bring in some vinyasa. So nice, deep, slow inhale, bring your elbows together in front of you. Keep inhaling as you reach your elbows up. And as they separate and draw backwards, squeezing your shoulder blades, you can start to exhale. Keep that movement going. Inhaling, slow, long. Can you extend the movement? Can you extend the breath? Exhaling, really squeezing, and you can perhaps feel the movement of your shoulders under your fingers. One more. Backwards. And then when your elbows reach your sides, we're going to go take the elbows backwards to start and then come forwards, like we're doing butterfly. Inhaling up and exhaling. The elbows together in front, perhaps dropping your chin slightly. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, either through your mouth or through your lips. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Keeping your fingertips on your shoulders, bring your elbows out to the sides. Make sure your feet are grounded and comfortable. And our hips are going to stay over our feet. Our lower body is going to aim to stay still here. We're going to take some little movements from the mid-thoracic spine. So my hips aren't twisting here and doing that. My hips are staying still and I'm just doing little movements, keeping my elbows pointing out to the sides of me. My neck is relaxed and I'm going to start to bring in some breath now. So I'm going to breathe in as I take a twist, breathe out as I come to the center. A little bit more dynamically, breathe in to twist, out to center. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. You can start to make it a little bit quicker. Don't go too fast so that you become dizzy. One more. Release your hands down by your sides. Spread your fingers, reach up through the crown of your head. On an inhale, take your arms up wide. Bring your fingertips to touch, and as you exhale, turn your palms outwards and exhale down by your sides. Imagine you're pressing down on the air beside you to lift yourself upwards. Keep exhaling. At the end of your exhale, let your fingers touch your thighs. Inhale, turn your arms upwards, reaching up. If your neck's okay, you can start to look up, or maybe just lift your eyes, fingertips to touch. Exhale, palms down to the heart with your hands together. Interlace your fingers now, press your palms down, and as you inhale, bend your knees and reach up, pressing into your hands, turning your palms upwards if this is appropriate. If not, you can have your hands apart. Pressing your palms upwards, lengthening through your hands and pressing down through your feet, so you're growing a little bit taller. Keep breathing. Now take an inhale and hold this next inhale in. Lean to one side, it doesn't matter which way you go. Keep the breath in and lean to the other side. Come back to the center and breathe out. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lean, center, hold the breath, lean. Inhale, exhale to center. Release your hands, take your arms wide, soften your knees, fold at your hips, come into a forward fold. It doesn't matter how low you go. Soft knees, tilting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Relax your head, give your head a little nod and a little shake. If it's comfortable for you, if you feel safe to do so, clasp hold of your elbows and let your head hang between your upper arms. You can do a few little sways here from side to side, or backwards and forwards, or little twists, whatever feels nice. Just stretch and lengthen your spine so there's no lifting the head. That's only going to just engage muscles and make your neck sore. So just think about your head being heavy, weighted, your elbows being weighted, and your spine is allowing to be stretched. Lift your belly away from your thighs and keep breathing deeply. Now keep holding onto your elbows, soften your knees, and on an inhale, press into your feet. Lift your elbows up, grab hold of your elbows with your hands and lift yourself upwards. Pull your elbows up towards the ceiling now. Imagine these are someone else's hands holding onto your elbows, lifting you and stretching you upright. Your feet are stretching down into the floor. And we're going to lean over to our left. As we lean to the left, use your left hand to lift your right elbow up, 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 up. Press down into your right foot so you get this lovely stretch down the right side. And then inhale, come back to center. Exhale, Lean to the right. Using your right hand now to lift your left elbow. Press down into your left foot. Your tailbone is still tucking under. Your neck is still free. And then inhale to center. Release your arms. Take a wide stretch down. Soften your knees. A little standing vinyasa. Exhale, come forward to a forward fold. Inhale, lift to a flat back. So bring your hands just above your knees or onto your shins. Exhale, soften your knees, fold over your legs. Your hands can relax. One more time. Inhale, round up to a flat back position. Exhale, folding over your legs. This time, bend your knees as if you're going to sit down into a chair behind you and bring your hands up onto your thighs. Press into your thighs and lift your chest. So you can have your fingers pointing inwards, or I like to have a little V shape with my thumb and index finger and rest my hands just above the knees on the thighs. So I'm in a supported, let me take my cardigan up so you can see, I'm in a supported chair pose, supported Utkatasana. I'm still in the posture, my spine is long, my knees are bending, I can see my big toes, but I'm not having to use all the muscles to support myself here. My arms are doing a little bit of the work as well. And we're going to just get some mobility in the joints. So I'd like you to just move your knees around. And you can roll on your feet as well. Lifting and spreading your toes. And then changing direction. Just being mindful that if you straighten your legs out, try not to jar your knees backwards. Ironing out any clicks or clacks. It's a technical term. And again, with your hands on your knees or above your knees, you can feel the muscles, you can feel the movements of the joints. And then come back into your chair pose. Ease off when you're moving. Keep your hands on your knees. And we're going to step our feet wide. So if you want to, I'm going to stay facing the camera so you can all see me, but if you want to, I'm stepping wider than my mat. You can turn sideways now and still have your feet on your mat if you've got slippery floors. Or carpet, you don't need a yoga mat. It's non-essential. So we know all about non-essentials. So bending the knees, pressing the knees outwards and using the hands to support your weight. Let your tailbone become heavy here. If it becomes too much, straighten the legs out a little bit. It's absolutely fine. Roll your shoulders down and back. And let's just have a little sway from side to side. Just checking in with the legs, checking in with the feet. Spread your toes. Good. And then come back to a neutral position, sinking down to the hips. A little bit of strength here. Bring your palms together at your heart. Notice how I'm not really low. If you're working hard and you really want to, you're welcome to come down into a strong goddess. But remember, this is gentle yoga, so listen to what your body needs. As we inhale today, we're going to inhale into our upper back. So we're going to do the opposite to what we normally do. As you inhale, I'd like you to bring your backs of your hands together, round your upper back. Breathe in, point your fingers down to the floor. Breathe in, expand your upper back. And as you breathe out, make a lotus mudra with your hands. Open your chest, breathe out. Inhale, dive the backs of the hands together down to the floor. Inhale, lotus mudra, reach up. Exhale, inhale, dive your hands down. Exhale, lotus mudra, lift the chest. Exhale. Lovely, bring your hands back onto your knees. We're going to keep the left hand on the left knee. And we're just going to do some little figure of 8 swirls with the right arm. Making some figures of 8, warming up the shoulder internally and externally, rotating and a little bit of swaying at the hips. Please feel free to straighten your legs out if you need to. Making those circles a little bit bigger. And then the next time our right arm goes backwards, we're going to send it backwards. We're going to send the left arm forwards, out to the side. So both arms are out to the side. We pick up the right heel, send the right heel away from you. Pick up the left toes and send the left toes away from you. Bend the left knee and we're in a warrior 2 position. So the left knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes, rolling into the outside edge of the right foot and lifting up. Imagine your feet are like suckers drawing up energy from the ground. Release your shoulders, look over your left fingers, Virabhadrasana 2. This time, we're going to circle the left arm. So we're going to do some circles with the left arm. The right arm is reaching out behind us. And the next time the left arm comes to the front, we lift it up and over, coming into our reverse warrior. We're going to breathe in here. Exhale, bring your left hand to your knee, lift your right arm up. Inhale, right arm back, left arm up, the left knee stays bent. Exhale, left hand to knee. Some of you might bring the elbow to knee, right arm up. One more time, inhale, right arm back, lift up. This time we're going to come forwards into our Parsvakasana side stretch. Either left elbow onto the knee, but not dumping your weight here. You're lifting out your shoulder, reaching your right arm up. Or if it's too strong, left hand on the knee. That's absolutely fine. Take one more breath here. Wriggle your left toes so you're not gripping with your toes. And then slowly start to straighten out your left leg. Make sure there's a tiny micro bend on your left knee so you're not jarring your knee back. Pull your right hip back towards the back of your yoga mat and extend up through your right fingers. Don't press down by your knee to press the knee back. So my hand's just resting there. Some of you might slide your hand down onto your shin or a little bit lower, but keep the opening in the chest. Keep the length in the waist, so listen to your body. Squeeze your legs towards each other. Activate through your legs. And then inhale, lift up, all the way up to stand. Turn your left toes in. Turn your right heel in. And we're going to heel toe our feet one at a time. So it's like a little dance. Heel toe one at a time. Back together, swaying the hips as we go. Woo! Try not to fall over. If you look down, you fall over. I've established. Bringing your feet together and we'll do a standing vinyasa. So take an inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your knees a little bit and fold forwards. Inhale, hands to your shins or your thighs, flat back. Exhale, fold over your legs. One more time, inhale, flat back. This time, exhale, bend your knees, hands on your thighs. And we're going to step our feet out into our goddess pose again. So heels are in, toes are out slightly, and you're sitting down as if there's a stool behind you. Lovely. Shoulders away from ears, belly lifts. Great. And this time we're going to do our side stretch with the left arm. So we're going to start with the left arm, doing our figures of eights. Figures of eights, internally and externally rotating. Making those movements as big as you want. Breathing into the movements. Not going to shock our bodies into any sudden extended postures. And the next time you take your arm back, we're going to send it back. We're going to reach the right arm out to the right. Lift the left heel. Extend the left heel out behind you and turn the right toes to point to the right. Bend your right knee, warrior two. Look over your right fingers, pull your left hip back, pull your left rib cage back so your ribs are spinning towards me. Lovely, press your right knee outwards. It's going to want to fall in as well, so press it out. You don't have to have quite such a strong bend on your knee. You can be up here, you're still in your warrior. If you need to relax your arms, you can do. Take one more breath. And we're going to take the right arm now. We're going to do our figures of eight, keeping the left arm reaching out behind us. And then the next time the right arm comes forwards, we take it up and over, the left hand down the back leg, the right arm reaches up, reversing our warrior. Let's flow. This time we exhale, right hand to the knee, left arm up. Inhale, left hand back, right arm reaches up. Exhale, hand or elbow to the knee, left arm up. Coming back, lifting up, linking the movement with your breath. And forward, Parsvakasana, either elbow to the knee, we're going to stay here this time. Parsvakasana, elbow or hand, Lengthening the spine, pressing into the back heel, but squeezing the thighs towards each other. Lifting the pelvic floor. Lovely. Relaxing the shoulders. One more breath. And then starting to straighten out the right leg. Making sure as you do, you don't stick your hip out too far behind you. So squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. Stabilize through the hips. Press down into the feet. Roll your right knee backwards. So externally rotate your right leg. Make sure you're not pressing down with your right hand so your knee isn't jarring backwards. Open your ribs. Breathing into Trikonasana. And then inhale, lift up, soften your knees. Lift your left heel, bring your left heel in. Lift your right toes, bring your right toes in. And then we're going to do that little dance, heel toeing our feet. Don't look down. Heel toeing our feet back to center. Lovely. Bringing the palms together at the heart, and we'll take another standing vinyasa to bring everything back into balance. As you inhale, reach up. Exhale, dive your arms forwards. Inhale, lift your flat back. Exhale, roll your spine down. One more, inhale, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees, come into your chair. Lovely. With your hands on top of your knees, sitting into your chair. One more breath in your chair. And then inhale, lifting up to stand, rolling your shoulders back, turning your palms forward, spreading your fingers and reaching your fingertips down towards the floor. Tadasana, mountain pose. You are a mountain. You are connected to the earth beneath you. You are strong. You are stable. You endure the ever-changing environments around you. With grace and ease. And now we're going to move into our balance section of our practice. So if balance is a challenge for you, please feel free to use a wall, or if you have a dining room chair or an office chair that hasn't got wheels, put the brakes on, something that you can hold on to balance yourself, that's great. If you want to challenge your balance, you don't need anything. You don't necessarily need to lift your feet off the floor for this one today either. A little note, if you are on a squishy carpet or the grass or an uneven surface or even a couple of yoga mats, it makes a difference to balance. So don't beat yourself up if you fall over, because the more squishiness you have under your feet, the harder it is to balance and to stand on one leg. So we're going to start by toning the left leg, pulling the left hip into the midline, lifting the left kneecap, shoulders over hips, strong in the left side of the body. Engage the tummy muscles and find a drishti. So find a point to focus on the floor, something that's not moving. Transfer your weight into your right foot, all four corners of your right foot, remember. Just lift up, left foot. Just lift up your right heel. And we're going to spin the right knee out to the right. As we do that, you can rest your right heel on your left ankle. And then just check in with what your hips have done. Possibly your hips have spun around to the right as well. So this posture is a hip opener. Vrikshasana tree pose, it's a hip opener. So I'd like you to pull your left hip back. Perhaps use your left hand on your left, the bone sticking out at the front of your hip. I've lost it today. The bone sticking out the front of the left hip, pulling the left hip back. It's your iliac crest, I know that much. And then your right hand can be on your right inner thigh, pressing it outwards. Lovely. So your hips are still square to the front of your mat. If you want to, you stay here. You relax. This is a tree pose. It's a balance in itself because there's less of you in contact with the floor. If you want to, you might pick up your right foot, still opening the hips, pressing the right knee out to the side, making sure your foot is on the shin. For those of you who have a comfortable balance practice, you're welcome to pick your foot up and place it in your groin. You can use a wall to hang on to here if you need to, or your chair. Make sure you're not poking your hip out to the side though, so pull your left hip in And just a point, make sure you're not pressing your right foot against the inside of your knee, please. So your left leg is strong. You can keep your hands as a reminder for posture, or if you want to, you can bring your palms together. Take one more breath here. And then release your right foot and either rest the tips of your right toes on the floor, or some of you will be able to hold on underneath the right thigh. Perhaps again, the right hand's under the thigh and the left hand is balancing on the wall. Flex the right foot for a variation of our standing staff pose. Shoulders away from ears, belly muscles are strong. Good. Breathing into this balance, keep your drishti. We're going to take this now into a warrior 3. I know your left leg is possibly talking to you. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the alignment here. If you need the wall, have the wall. We're going to take the right leg and extend the toes out behind us. Just the tippy toes onto the floor. And then reach the arms up. So we've got a line from fingertips to toe. Turning the hips to square into the front of the mat. Some of you might lift your foot off the floor just a little bit and hinge at your hips, keeping that straight line. If it's in your practice, some of you might come into more of a full variation of the posture. There is also the option, don't know if you can see here, but my hands are on the wall, my left foot is on the floor, and I'm using the wall to lift my right leg as high as I can without lifting my hip. So please be mindful here, and then ease. I know I'm talking too much. Lower your right foot back down to the floor. Give your left leg a good shake, perhaps making gentle fists and giving some dough in. Let's get the lactic acid moving around that right leg, and we'll do left leg, and we'll do all the same on the other side. So we're going to stabilize the right leg now. So lift the right kneecap, pull the right thigh into the midline. Mula Bandha. Drishti, relax, breathe. Let's come into our Vrikshasana. So open up your left foot. Left knee opens out to the side. Left heel rests on the right ankle. Right hand hooks the right iliac crest, pulling it backwards. Tailbone tucks under shoulders, over hips. Relaxed gaze, soft face. If you're grimacing, you're trying too hard, so relax. Perhaps you bring your left foot, for a moment even, up onto your shin. See how that feels. Perhaps some of you might bring your foot up into your groin, pressing the heel into the thigh and the thigh into the heel. Flexing your foot, really pressing right hip inwards. Left knee out to the side. Your hands can stay on your hip and your leg. You can have your hands to your heart. Relax your shoulders, engage the core. Lovely. Relax your tree pose now, and either bring your tippy toes to the floor, hold on behind the back of your left thigh, or perhaps one hand on a wall, one hand under your leg. Flex your foot. Think trying to keep the left knee in line with the left hip. And then we're going to take this into our final balance posture. Extending the left leg out behind you, tippy toes to the floor, reach the arms forward. So we're not back bending here, we're staying in a straight line. Toes to the floor, arms reaching up. Pull the left hip forward, right hip back. And if it's available to you, maybe you lift the foot off the floor just an inch or two and hinge at your hips a couple of degrees. And again, some of you might come into a more advanced variation of the posture, keeping a nice level spine, or hands to the wall, using the wall for support. It's not cheating, it's adapting your practice to suit you. And then inhaling, lowering the left leg slowly. Don't drop it down. Give your right leg a good shake out. If you want to, again, go in, massage around the thigh, the hips, the glutes. And we're going to make our way down to the floor now. So coming towards the front of your mat, we're going to take a full partial vinyasa. That's a thing. So feet together or hip width apart, spread your toes. Just take a moment standing in your mountain again. Feel that connection that you have to the earth beneath you. And then take an inhale, reach your arms up, fingertips or palms to touch. Exhale, soften your knees, fold forwards, come into your forward fold. Inhale, straighten out your legs, flat back, hands to your shins or your thighs. Exhale, bend your knees as much as you need to get your hands to the floor, and then step back to all fours. Coming down to all fours, lovely. Keep your big toes touching and walk your knees, if you can, as wide as your mat, and then let your bottom sit down onto your heels. Take your hands as wide as your mat and come forwards into a child's pose, dropping your head towards the floor. If your head doesn't touch the floor, you can make one potato, two potato fists with your hands, resting your forehead on your hands, or if you have a block or a cushion or a couple of blankets rolled up, rest your forehead on your block. Think about keeping bum to heels here, rather than forehead to the floor and doing this. Think about this. So imagine there's a weight on your bottom. You're stretching out your lower back. Good. Now lift your head here. Keep your bottom on your heels. And we're going to take the right arm for a little twist. We're going to thread the needle. So we're going to take the right arm and slide it underneath the left, reaching it all the way across the left and lowering the right shoulder and right side of your head to the floor. Or again, if it doesn't reach the floor, a cushion, a block, or a rolled up blanket. Just breathing into that twist into the upper back, the shoulders. You can lift up onto your left fingertips if you want more of a twist. Pressing into your back of your right arm. And then inhale, come back to center. And we're going to exhale, left arm underneath the right, reaching the left arm underneath the right armpit and landing the left side of the head. Stretching the right fingertips forwards at the same time as stretching the bottom to the heels. If this is too strong on your knees, you can do this from all fours. So coming into it like this. Or simply sit on your bottom and have a rest for a moment. And then inhale to come out of our twist. Walk your hands back towards you. Bring your knees together and let your bottom drop to one side. It doesn't matter which. And we're going to extend our legs around to the front and come to lying down on our backs. So lying down on your back on your mat. I've gone sideways so you can see. Take your feet as wide as your mat and your arms out into a letter T shape. And let your knees drop over to your right. Making sure your both shoulders stay grounded. So if you need to pick your shoulders up and replace them on the floor, that's fine. If your knees don't go all the way down to the floor, pop something underneath them to support them. Take as long as you need to here. It's a lovely stretch. You can dig the edges of your feet into the floor and push or pull. Nice deep breaths into your belly. And then breathe in, bring your knees back to the centre. And just lift your hips up and just shuffle them tiny bit off to the right because they may have moved a little bit before letting your knees drop over to your left. Again, if you need to pick your shoulders up and shuffle them so that they feel connected and grounded, that's fine. And if your neck is happy with it, you can turn your head to look to your right. And it's okay if your knees are up here, if they're flapping in the breeze a bit, that's fine. This is your practice, it's your twist. Contentment, santosha. Nice deep belly breaths. And then inhale, bring your feet back to center. Pick up your hips and shimmy your spine straight again. Walk your feet closer, little tiny bit closer to your bottom with your feet flat to the floor. Knees pointing straight upwards, feet about hip width apart, arms down by your sides. As we inhale, lift your hips, peel your hips off the floor, lift your arms up and over towards the floor behind you. It doesn't have to be high. As you exhale, lower your back one vertebra at a time, lower your arms by your sides again. We'll do one more like that. Inhale to lift your arms and your hips as high as is comfortable for you. Exhaling, lowering. And the final posture that we're going to do today is Vipariti Karani Mudra. So if you are near a wall or even a sofa, sofa's a good one to do. If you're near a sofa, I suggest you shimmy in right close to it and hook your legs over the sofa. So rest your feet, your shins even, calves on the cushions and just lie down so your legs are elevated. If you're near a wall, I suggest coming in sideways to your wall. So get nice and close up to the wall. This is always the hardest bit of this posture. Once you get there, it's lovely. And then doing a shimmy to send your legs up the wall. Now I have 16-year-olds who can't do this. So if this is a struggle, you might have to kind of wiggle your way in. And then just rest, let your hands rest on your belly. Visualize the flow of energy down from your feet, down your legs, as if sand were being poured, warm sand were being poured down your legs into your hips, weighting down your hips into the ground. Just take a few deep, long, steady breaths here. Feeling the connection with the back of your body and the floor. Feeling the support from wherever you have your legs positioned. Now you are more than welcome to stay in this position for Shavasana, for a relaxation part of the practice. Or if you feel more comfortable to, you can come to lying down on your backs. Making yourself comfortable, perhaps putting a bolster if you have one, or a cushion or a blanket rolled up underneath your knees. Making sure you're warm. It's getting chillier today. If you have an eye pillow or something to cover your eyes, to block out the light, by all means place something across your eyes. And then let the weight of your body drop down into the floor. Become aware of a sensation of heaviness throughout your whole body. And the floor is there to support you. The floor has caught us every time we've wobbled today. You've established a connection with the earth beneath you, through your feet, sharing its energy. It's part of you now. So surrender to it even further now with the whole of your body. Now let go of that sensation of heavy and start to develop an awareness of almost weightlessness throughout the whole of your body. Starting with your feet, that weightlessness travels up your legs to your hips, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, all become light, as if they're floating away from the ground. And become aware of a sense of weightlessness through your torso, your belly, your spine, your heart, your head. Your thoughts become weightless and drift away. Enjoy the sensation of weightlessness, of floating. Feel free to stay here for as long as you want and need to. Or if you feel ready now, you can begin to let your awareness return to the physical weight of your body, the distribution of the weight of your body on the floor beneath you, the weight of your legs, your arms, your torso, and your head. That sensation of life coursing through your veins, your heart beating. You are alive. You are so alive right now. And it's a good day to be alive. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. And you can start to stretch and rotate ankles, wrists. Roll your head from side to side. Perhaps using your hands to massage and rub any parts of your body that need waking up a little further. And then in your own time, you can roll over onto your right hand side if there's space, or if not, go to your left. Take your time and eventually make your way up to any comfy seated position. I'm kneeling today, but if you need to sit on a couple of blocks or a cushion or even a chair, that's fine. Let's ensure that your spine is upright for our last final part of the practice. Bring your palms together at your heart center, resting your thumbs on your sternum, and take one final deep Ujjayi breath in. Hold the breath in at the top. Maybe see if you can sip in a little bit more goodness. And then as you exhale, bow forwards, thanking yourself for your practice today. Thank you all for joining me today. It was perfect timing on the pebbles barking. If you do watch this video back, he has joined us in Shavasana, so perhaps rewind, and if you want something to make you smile, rewind the video a few minutes and you'll see Pebbles joining in for Shavasana. Hopefully see you all again soon. Thank you for joining.